Judges 16 to 18, chapter 16 tells us the rest of the story regarding Samson. We see the Nazarite man of God having sex with a harlot. Then we see him getting caught up with his new girlfriend, Delilah. The Philistines approached Delilah and offered her money to find out Samson's strength secret. Samson played with her initially, but finally she won out and discovered that the secret was in his hair. The strength was not in Samson's hair, but in his vow as a Nazarite man of God who would not cut his hair. This compromise in Samson's commitment to God slowly but surely chipped away at his strength in the Lord, and finally it was gone. Samson began to play with sin and compromise. He thought he had control over things, but then sin, including Delilah, turned the tables on him, and ultimately sin had control over him. The Philistines poked his eyes out and made him a grinder in prison. Sin blinds and later grinds. As the Philistines made sport of Samson at a gathering where they were offering great sacrifice to their god Dagon, Samson, obviously humbled at this point, called upon God to empower him to kill 3,000 Philistines by pulling down the pillars of the house, which God did. We find Samson in Hebrews 11 in the Hall of Faith. It's interesting that Samson wanted this as personal revenge once again against the Philistines. This man was called of God and had great opportunity to be used of God, but his compromise with sin disqualified him. He started but did not finish. Yet, as I said, we see Samson among those of faith in Hebrews 11. Indeed, he was a man of faith, as attested to in his death. In chapter 17, we see the thief, Micah, enabled by his mother to continue as a spoiled brat, making an ephod, household idols, and appointing his son as a priest. This line is befitting. In those days there was no king in Israel. Every man did what was right in his own eyes. Sounds like our day and age. A Levite ended up at Micah's home, and Micah made him his own personal priest, reasoning that now God would surely bless him because he had a prescribed Levite as a priest. The Levite accepted even though the house was filled with idols. The Danites were looking for more land as they were unwilling to fight for what they had been given, and they too ended up at Micah's home. They stole the ephod and idols and took the Levite to be their own priest as they moved on to conquer Laish and live there. The Danites set up the graven image, and Jonathan the priest, grandson of Moses, possibly, carried on as their hired preacher, preaching what they told him to preach, the way they told him to do it. Jonathan had moved from Micah's home to a so-called bigger church at a better deal. Things have really gotten bad in Israel. Nations go down in this order. Number one, religious apostasy. Number two, moral awfulness. And number three, political anarchy. Looks kind of familiar, huh? Luke chapter 7, verses 1 through 30. A centurion's slave was deathly sick, and he sent some Jewish elders to ask Jesus to come and heal him. On the way, Jesus was stopped by the centurion's friends, who delivered the message, "Lord, do not trouble yourself further, for I am not worthy for you to come under my roof. Say the word, and my servant will be healed. For I also am a man placed under authority, with soldiers under me, and I say to this one, go, and he goes, and to another, come, and he comes, and to my slave, do this, and he does it." Jesus marveled at the centurion's faith and understanding of authority. May we have this same faith and understanding of authority, so Jesus will marvel at us. Jesus has all authority in heaven and on earth. As we come under Jesus and his authority, he puts us over everything else. We must come under in order to be over. When the centurion's friends returned, they found the slave in good health. Next in Nain, Jesus felt compassion for a widow who was burying her only son. He stopped the bearers who were carrying the body and said, "Young man, I say to you, arise." The dead man sat up and began to speak. Jesus has all authority. If you are a born-again believer in Jesus Christ, he has raised you from the dead too. Next, John the Baptist is in prison struggling with doubt. I've struggled with doubt too. What if we were sitting in prison? John, the same John who announced Jesus as the Lamb of God who takes away the sin of the world, the same John who baptized Jesus, sent his disciples to ask Jesus if he really was the Messiah. Don't you just love how God doesn't leave things out of his word, how he tells it like it is, including the struggles of men and their fear, doubt, and unbelief? Now here's a story I can relate to. Jesus healed several on the spot and told John's disciples to go tell him what they'd seen, which was a direct fulfillment of messianic prophecy in Isaiah. Jesus directed John to the Word. He does that too. Faith comes by hearing, and hearing by the Word. John was a key figure in this transition between prophecy and its fulfillment, Jesus himself. And Jesus acknowledged John's faithfulness in what he was called to do.